welcome back to my channel, or as I like to call it, my app. Recently I went out of the country and I went to Europe, and I noticed that there are a lot of things that you do not think about when planning and also packing. So this video is basically going to just be giving tips for when you are planning on going out of the country, and also some packing tips for when you are packing to go out of the country. So I made a list of everything that I would like to go over. So I will be dividing this video into two parts. The first part will be packing tips and the second part will just be general tips. We're about to go into packing right now. Okay, so the first thing about packing in general, just make sure that you do pack light. I am a victim of packing too much things. Anytime I pack, I always overpack. Do not pack everything, just pack all that you need. When I went out of the country, I packed so much stuff that I really didn't need at all. I packed extra clothes, extra heels and shoes, and I didn't even wear everything. So it really just took up a lot of space and I regretted it when I was out there. So just do not do that. Rule of thumb is to pack everything up into your suitcase, then take everything out, put it on your bed, take out stuff that you feel you do not need, repack it back into your suitcase, and do that cycle all over again, and you should be good to go. Number two, packing cubes. I don't like packing cubes, but some people like packing cubes. I believe that packing cubes, they take up too much space because it is a cube, so it's making it more heavier since you are packing it all together. I do not like packing cubes, but look into packing cubes if you do like packing cubes. It does keep everything organized. So just think about if you want to use packing cubes or not. Regardless if you do use packing cubes or not, I do suggest that you roll your clothes instead of folding them because they do give you more space. Number three, make sure you keep your suitcase organized. So I went out of the country for a month and I was in a different city every 3 days. So I didn't know what I wanted to wear each day, but I knew outfits that I wanted to wear for each city. So I would pack based off of that. Cities that I were going to last, I will put all of those clothing at the bottom, and the stuff that I wanted to wear at the cities that I were going to first, I would put them at the top. And as the days went on, I would just rotate all of my clothes. If I already wore it, I would just put it underneath everything in my suitcase. So just make sure you keep your suitcase organized, whatever method that you want to use, just to make sure that you're not rummaging through your suitcase and having to unpack everything to look for stuff, and then your suitcase is all messy and you're throwing stuff in there, and it's gonna make your suitcase way more heavier and also just all over the place. So just organize your suitcase. Number four, make sure you buy a mini digital scale for before you go to the airport. You can weigh your suitcase yourself to see how much it weighs, and also have it when you are out of the country. For when you are going back home, you can also weigh your suitcase yourself to make sure that it is still not over capacity, because you're gonna probably buy stuff while you're out of the country, souvenirs, maybe clothes and stuff, so you want to make sure that it's still under the weight limit so you don't have to pay for an extra fee. Number five, I would say buy a lock to lock your suitcase. And if you do get a lock, I would say make sure it is TSA approved, so you do not have to keep on taking your lock on and off for when you are going to the airport. I just always say play it safe. You know, you could be at the best hotel ever, but you never know what could happen. Someone could go in your suitcase while you're not there or anything. Someone can go through your suitcase while you're at the airport. So I would just recommend to lock your suitcase when you're not using it, just to make sure everything is safe, especially if you're storing valuables in there. Some people like to store cash and stuff in their suitcase, so why not lock it if you're gonna store it in there? Number six, I'm gonna say this, you don't have to follow if you don't want to, but I would suggest not to wear or pack athletic outfits for when you're going outside of the country. I've noticed, I'm not sure, I mean, everyone wears athletic clothing, but I feel like mostly Americans wear it as an everyday outfit. A lot of people, especially what I noticed in the areas that I was in Europe, people do not really wear athletic attire on an everyday basis. So just do your research and see what people are wearing so you can blend in with wherever you are going instead of standing out a lot. I wouldn't suggest packing athletic attire unless you're planning on wearing it like to the airport. So other than that, I wouldn't really wear athletic attire. Number seven, make sure you do not stuff your suitcase where you do not have any room for it, make sure you leave room in your suitcase for souvenirs, because like I said, you probably will be buying souvenirs. So if you pack your suitcase to the extreme, you're not going to have room to have enough room for your souvenirs, so you won't really be able to buy all the stuff that you really want. Number 8, I would say make sure you place a name tag on all of your luggage. So your check bag, your carry-on, your personal item, all of that, unless your personal item is a purse, but all of that, make sure you have a name tag on it for when you are in the airport, because if your luggage gets missing, if your luggage is misplaced, you're easily able to find it. Well, the airport can easily find it and give it to you. Number 9, wear your heaviest clothing on the plane. So do not pack, if you're packing a trench coat, do not pack it inside of your suitcase. Wear it to the airport, because it's going to take up way more space in your suitcase, whereas you could just wear it on the airport and, you know, it'll be fine. So wear your heaviest clothing to the airport instead of packing it in your suitcase. Number 10, I would suggest not to pack extra necessities that you do not need. So for example, I planned on originally buying a blanket for when I'm on the airplane so I wouldn't be so cold, and I flew with Delta, and when I boarded the plane they gave every passenger a blanket and a pillow. So I was really glad that I did not buy a blanket, because it would have just been unnecessary. So if you do not feel like you would really need it, then I wouldn't suggest to pack it. You know, some people, they do feel like they need a neck pillow. You know, if your neck gets cramps and stuff, do get yourself a neck pillow. But if you feel like you don't really need it, like you're just getting it just to get it, don't get it. So number 11, I would suggest to use a backpack or something that you can store underneath your seat on the airplane to store stuff that you would easily need to reach, instead of storing it in your carry-on, because your carry-on usually goes above the plane. And so if you don't have something that you could just store underneath your seat and you need to keep getting up to get stuff out your carry-on, that could be annoying and inconsiderate to the other passengers that you were close to. So for example, I had a carry-on, but I also had a backpack, and in my backpack I put stuff that I would easily need, such as my charger, my headphones, a book, you know, just stuff like that, instead of me always having to reach up above my seat and get stuff. So I would suggest to just get something like a backpack or something so you could just push it underneath your seat. Number 12, pack an extra outfit and small toiletries into your carry-on in case anything does happen to your check bag. So maybe your check bag might get delayed before you get to your destination. At least you'll have an extra outfit for if it doesn't come the next day. Okay, you'll have an outfit for the next day. And also you'll have small toiletries that you will need, such as a toothbrush or a brush to comb your hair, deodorant, you know, stuff like that. I would suggest to put that in your carry-on, because your carry-on is going to go on the plane. So whatever you go with on the plane, you're going to come off with, whereas your check bag, it could get sent to a different airport or anything. So just make sure you have an extra outfit and small toiletries that you know for sure that you will need for the next day in your carry-on. Number 13, if this is the first time that you are traveling on an airplane at all in general, make sure you do go on whatever airplane company that you are flying with and check to see the amount of liquids that are allowed above the plane. So whenever you're going through TSA, they do not throw away any liquids that you would want. I know it's a certain amount, I can't remember it offhand, and usually it has to be like travel size. So make sure you do look into that, and anything that you want that does not fit that requirement, make sure you put it in your bag that will be under the plane. Okay, that concludes my tips for packing tips. So now I'm going to get into the general tips just for when you're going out of the country. Number 1, make sure your passport is up to date for at least 6 months before you are coming back home. Just in case anything happens or anything, it's just always safe to have your passport not about to be expiring anytime soon. So if you're leaving in January and you're planning on coming back in February, make sure that your passport does not expire before February, because you never know what could happen. You might have to stay out outside of the country longer than needed or anything, just be on the safe side and make sure that your passport is up to date within the next 6 months. Number 2, make copies of your passport just in case it gets lost or stolen, and email that copy to yourself so you're able to have it by hand anytime you would really need it. I took a picture of my iPhone, but I used the app Adobe Scan, and I emailed it to myself instead of just leaving it in my phone, because your phone could get lost, your phone could get stolen. So if you email it, it's always you're able to get to internet and to also, like, you know, print it or anything, or just show it in general. Whereas your phone, it could get deleted, it could get lost or stolen. So just make sure you do have that extra copy just in case anything does happen. Make sure you have enough of all your personal items, such as eye contacts or medications, for while you are away, so you don't run out of it until you get home. Number 4, make sure you check into your flight 24 hours in advance so you don't have to deal with the extra hassle. And also, you get benefits too when you check in 24 hours in advance. You can pick out your seat, and you can also add stuff to your flight, such as, I can't remember everything offhand, but I know there are benefits, like you can add Wi-Fi and certain stuff to it. I'm not really 100% sure of everything, but just make sure you do check in 24 hours in advance. Regardless if you do check in 24 hours in advance or not, make sure you do get to the airport earlier than you need to, so you can have time to get through TSA and also checking in your check bag before your flight takes off, because you don't want to miss your flight. Like, you're about to go off the country, you're gonna have fun, don't miss your flight. Number 5, do not take out cash at the airport whenever you do land, because it's a higher conversion when you're exchanging currency at the airport, because they know a lot of people are going to be trying to take out cash. So I would suggest taking out cash at an ATM on the street or just a local bank in the area instead of taking out at the airport, because it will be very much cheaper. I wish I would have knew that, because as soon as I landed in London, I went straight to the ATM and just took out cash, and I think I probably took out $40, but I probably paid about $60 or $80 because all the charges that they did. Number 6, make sure you look into an international data plan. I would really suggest to get a data plan with your phone service. Some people, they just feel like, oh, they don't need one and they can just use the Wi-Fi that is in the area, but Wi-Fi isn't everywhere, you know, and you don't want to just be sitting around trying to get Wi-Fi when you can be exploring wherever you are. So I would suggest to get a data plan that is international with your phone service. And also, if you are trying to find somewhere to go because you don't really know where you are, you're in a place that you're not really familiar with, to use Google Maps and not Apple Maps, because Google Maps is way more reliable than Apple Maps outside of the country. Don't order money in advance. I would suggest to you wait to get out there and get money, because you don't know how much you're going to be spending, and you don't want to have a big amount of cash on you too, because you can lose it or it can just get stolen from you. So I would suggest not to get money in advance. If you do, just don't get a lot of money in advance. I would really just suggest to just get money once you get out there. You know, there are ATMs everywhere, so I would suggest to do that. Contact your bank and let them know that you are going out of the country, so whenever you do make a transaction out of the country, they do not block that transaction from going through and you won't be able to use your card, because they probably will be thinking that someone is trying to hack into your account and it's not you. So make sure that they know that you are going outside of the country. I would suggest that you learn about the country that you are going to. Make sure you check the weather to know how the weather is so you can pack the appropriate clothing to wear there. Make sure you also look into how civilians from that country dress, and also look into activities that you will want to do so you can plan on everything that you want to do within that time that you are there, because time does go by so fast. So I would suggest to know everything that you want to do for when you go to whatever destination you are going, instead of getting out there trying to figure out what you want to do. Number 10, I would suggest to get travel insurance just in case anything does happen. If you get sick or anything, stuff like that does happen. It's a low chance, but you never know when it could happen. So I would just rather be safe than sorry. Make sure you do get yourself a travel adapter. You're gonna need it to charge your phone, or if you need to flat iron your hair or blow dry your hair or anything, because America has a different type of charging block than everyone else, or adapter, I guess. So just make sure you have one, because if not, you are SOL. Make sure you do have a portable charger or a charging phone case, because you will be out doing a lot of stuff, so your phone might die and you don't want to just put everything on pause to charge your phone, or your phone is dead and if an emergency happens you can't get in touch with anyone. So just make sure you do have a portable charger or a charging case. I like the charging case because you did not have to have all that extra bulkage with you, having a bulky portable charger and also the charger. So I like that way much better. And if you are going to bring a portable charger, make sure you do keep your charger on you at all times, because you never know if your portable charger might go out or anything. So it'll be always safe than sorry just to always have your charger on you. Even if you do the charging case too, you can keep your charger on you. Watch out for pickpocketers, because they are real and they are so good, like really, really good. I would avoid backpacks and purses, because your backpack is on your back, so you can't really see it all the time. And especially in Europe, like, pickpocketers are so good out there. Like, you won't even notice someone is next to you and they are literally just going inside of your backpack. So I would really suggest having either a fanny pack or something that you can hold close to you, so you can like pay attention and notice if anyone is like going inside of your purse or fanny pack or whatever you want to use. And also I would just say be aware of your surroundings, because they are really, really good. Like, they just, you don't even notice that they're a pickpocketer, to be honest. So just please be careful. Make sure you do research on this, because I was so confused about this. So tipping is not the same, especially in Europe, as it is in America. You know, in America, if you work at a restaurant, you get paid like a small amount, and then like you basically like your tips is basically your money. In Europe, I was told that you have to tip because, you know, they rely on tipping. But then like throughout my trip, I heard that it was an insult to tip, because it's opposite than the United States. Like, their tips is included in their pay, so it's a insult to them if you tip them, because they feel like they're not doing their job or something. So I don't know, I'm still confused about that. So just make sure wherever you go, do your research on tipping or not, because I'm not sure how tipping really goes. Once again, I'm not sure if this is everywhere, but I know it is like this in Europe. Well, in most areas of Europe, tap water and public restrooms are not free like it is in America. So just be aware of that, because a lot of people are like so surprised about it. Like, what, like I have to pay to use the restroom? Yeah. So make sure you do know that. Make sure you keep like a few little coins or cash on you in case you really do have to use the restroom. Or if you're at a restaurant, you know, some people like to get tap water because it's not a charge. You're gonna get charged. So if you want to get yourself a Sprite, girl, get yourself a Sprite, because regardless, that water or that Sprite, you're gonna get charged. Make sure you just keep a small amount of cash on you. Don't have so much cash on you. Cash doesn't have a name on it at all. So if someone takes your cash, then, you know, you lost your money. So just don't carry a lot of cash on you, because it's very dangerous. If you're making any transactions at all, make sure you use your credit card, because most credit cards do not have a fee to use your credit card out of the country, and only use your debit card when you're taking cash out. So if you don't have a credit card, make sure you go get yourself a credit card. Give yourself a budget on how much you want to spend, because you're going to spend money and not even notice how much you're spending. So just make sure you track how much you're spending and give yourself a budget if you don't want to spend so much money. So for an example, say the first 3 days you don't want to spend over $500, because you're going to be paying to eat and you're going to be buying souvenirs. So just make sure you're not spending all of your money, and give yourself a budget. Last but not least, make sure you do check with your doctor to see if you need any vaccines, and also if you are up to date with your vaccines before going out of the country. I didn't need any extra vaccines to go to Europe, but I know some other places you do need vaccines to travel to, so make sure you do have it. Some places also it's not necessary to have the vaccine, but they do recommend it. Make sure you just, well, it's up to you if you want to do it, but I would do it just to be on the safe side. So just go to your physician and see if you need any vaccines or not to travel anywhere. Thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, make sure you like it. Don't forget to subscribe as well to know when I will be posting more videos. And if you do think of any other tips or advice to give to others, make sure you comment them below.